Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ to go. If you want to build your game and learn Jiu-Jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Hi, I'm Professor Mike Martin. I own and operate and teach at Strong Heart Academy in Phoenix, Arizona. We're in 32nd Street in Union Hills in North Phoenix, right near Scottsdale. Today I want to talk about the talk that people say that Jiu-Jitsu is like live chess, okay? It is also on my 21 Truths. It's down here at number 11. Jiu-Jitsu is live chess. You must think. It is a thinking man's game, thinking woman's game, okay? So what that means, if you've ever played chess, every piece on the board has predetermined movements, and those are part of the rules. So when you can move a certain direction in each piece has its value. They are some pieces we sacrifice, some pieces we set up other pieces with. And we're constantly trying to progress through the board, taking the other pieces off the board. Now, really good chess players think far ahead. We're thinking in multiple moves ahead, and I'm going, okay, if I move this piece here, my opponent will move their piece here. And then if they move that piece there, I will move my piece here. And then from there, I'm going to get this piece off the board. You know, those are the really good chess players. You know, at a higher level, you need to be thinking way farther in advance, and you're doing this all in your head, okay? Now, the thing is, between Jiu-Jitsu, though, is everything can be countered, okay? There are counters for everything. Just like chess, you can counter moves, okay? You know, if you put yourself in a position where you are exposed, I can take the piece, okay? And Jiu-Jitsu is the same thing. Now, the big difference is in chess, once I take my hand off the piece, now the next person can go. Now, I know there's also like timed chess when you have so much time to make the decision. But in Jiu-Jitsu, we are both going at the same time. I'm making moves and you're making moves, and I can counter as you're making your moves. I can make a move and I can anticipate your next move and cut that move off before you do it. And so people have told me many times, like, how are you so fast? You seem so fast. And I said, I'm not. It's not as fast as that I know the move you're going to do. So because I know that route, I'm already ahead of you. I'm anticipating. It's my anticipation that makes me faster, because I already, instead of reaction, okay, you act and I react to your motion. I'm anticipating your action. So I'm anticipating you're going to do this. I already cut it off before you do it. Or just like chess, I am anticipating you. If I move here, you're going to move here. In Jiu-Jitsu, same thing. If I can bait you, okay, I can make you think you can pass. There's a old spider guard technique where I have a lasso on one side and I take the opposite shin and I put it against your waist. You think that you can pass around my guard, coming around to the side of my guard, okay? But that really just sets you up to get swept, okay? So I set up a sweep knowing that you think that you're going to get an advantageous position, and then I sweep you, meaning I knock you off your feet and I become on top position, okay? And so that is a way to outthink your opponent. And so many people think of, I think, a lot of combat sports too, not just jiu-jitsu, but a lot of combat sports is like, it's a brutish thing. And yes, it can be very physical. We are kind of doing violent things, okay? But technically chess, you know, is like knights and kings and queens, and you're trying to kill the king, You're trying to kill the queen, and all these positions, you're killing the other opponents. And so it's another way that it's very similar, okay? But it's also a thinking person's game, you don't have to physically move in chess. Just your hands are moving. Everything is done up here, okay? And in jiu-jitsu, you have to do both. You have to physically be in shape, okay, and make a movement with your whole body while thinking. I've also told people it's like do math while exercising, figure out math problems. Get on a treadmill and then do flashcards of math, or like complex math problems, They're problem solving. Jiu-jitsu is problem solving. I've told people many times that one of the ways that I progress through my jiu-jitsu is like just coming up with a problem. Oh man, Johnny here, he's passing my guard every single time, okay? Instead of like getting upset and going, I got my guard passed again, and just get mad, and you just say, that's it. I break it down. How and why did he pass my guard? What is he specifically doing that he passes my guard? Okay. Oh, he likes to use this move called a bullfighter pass. He shucks my legs to the side. He cross steps to my hip. Okay. And how am I allowing that to happen? Okay. One of the things is he's getting a hold of my legs and I don't have grips. Okay. So he's gripping me before me. Maybe on my back, I'm not sitting up first. So I break it down in those things. What is the problem? How can I solve the problem? Okay. So, but this is all while exercising at the same time, because he's physically moving to in a position, and I'm physically figuring out how to stop him. Okay. This is why, man, it's such a great mind, body, and spirit exercise or process. There's so few things that are all those things at the same time. So many things are one or the other. It is a mental challenge. It is a physical challenge. It is a mental challenge. It is a physical challenge. I'll tell people too, like, runners, once you get to a certain point, it's almost like you're in auto mode. Okay. There's no thinking involved. There's economy of motion. It's just the same pattern. There's no difference. You don't have to change anything. Same pattern. Same pattern. Jiu-jitsu is not. It's constantly changing. Angles are changing. Different opponents will change things. Like chess, you only have X amount of pieces left. You have a knight, a bishop, and a pawn. Your opponent has a queen, a rook, and obviously the king and a pawn. Okay, how do my pieces go against their pieces? Because now I know that the rook can only go this direction. I know the knight can go in an L. Okay, I know the queen can go almost any direction as far as it wants, other than making an angle. Okay, and so I have to go, how can I counter that? It's the same thing with an opponent. If I have a short opponent with small limbs, okay, how can I get underneath them if I wanted to sweep them? They're very compact, okay, and they're going to be faster, most likely, than me because they're smaller, and smaller guys are a lot faster. Maybe he's flexible or she's flexible. She can invert. She can go upside down, okay? So I know that opponent in front of me has certain attributes that are going to benefit them regardless of the techniques. These are like added things of the techniques. So I have to go, what are my attributes? What can I do physically? Am I fast? Am I strong? Am I a big, girthy guy? So it's hard to keep me down. Am I flexible also? Am I fast? Am I really strong? Do I have a really good grip? Do I never get cardio tired? These are things that I know, like maybe I can push the pace because I don't get tired. I know they get tired. They're strong, but they can't go at my pace. So if I push really fast, it's going to be hard. Maybe I'm faster. I can pass the guard fast. If I move fast, if I move slow, he's going to get a hold of me, going to slow me down. So using your attributes, just like chess, using each piece's attribute and understanding them and how do they counter each other and maneuver. So we're also maneuvering, outmaneuvering. Jiu-Jitsu is broken down into positions. They always say position before submission, but it's very true, especially at the lower levels. I need to really control an opponent before I can go for the kill. And in chess, similar, where you're trying to box. Sometimes you try to box in the king, so there's no movements left. Any movement he goes, that's checkmate. Okay, check is like, oh, if you don't move, I can kill you. Checkmate is there is no moves left. I can kill you. So we're boxing their ability to move in. So jiu-jitsu is similar to that way too, is like I'm getting into a position where you are immobile. Now I'm going to isolate a limb to attack. I can isolate an arm. I can isolate a neck. I can isolate legs. And even knee on belly would be the torso. And I'm isolating, and then I'm getting to a point where there is no movements left, and you go, okay, tap, you got me. Okay? And tap would be the checkmate. Okay? Again, everything can be countered, and a match isn't over until the tap. If certain matches are not over until the tap. Now, that's chess. It's over when they checkmate. But in jiu-jitsu, you can do sport jiu-jitsu where there's points involved, but still the goal is getting positions will lead to more points. So the more dominant a position, the more points you're going to rack up. And then it's strategy. Okay, can I submit this person? Not. Okay, how much time is left for me to be up in points to win? Now, people argue with this a lot, like, oh, you should only be submission. But there's also submission-only tournaments where it goes on until someone gets submitted. And those are like sometimes can go long. One person is in really good shape. It could go 45 minutes of wrestling, okay? And that could be exhausting. So we're constantly out-thinking each other, but we're also trying to keep making sure that we can physically last that long in a match. So that is like a kind of another way, the similarities and differences between chess. And I say live is because live chess, it says jiu-jitsu is live chess. You must think, okay? Because sometimes people go, especially if you're new, if you're athletic, it can be a hindrance to your jiu-jitsu because at the lower levels, you can beat a lot of people by just being athletic. And that is the truth, okay? If you're older and you're in shape, you're going to have a leg up on the guys that are your age but not as in shape, okay? They just can't hang. And if you rely on that, we're like, I'm just stronger. I'll just get stronger. I'll just lift more weights. The problem is when you get to the higher level belts, everyone is in shape, okay, for the most part, and their technique is good. So you never worked on your technique, and then you get to a high level, and you never learned technique. You just relied on your strength, and then they beat you. I have someone that I trained with years ago. He won the Pan Ams out. First of all, you could only be a blue belt back in the day, and he put on a blue belt. We just put on blue belts and they didn't check, and who cares? We're white belts. If we lose, we lose. It's not like sandbagging. And then our instructor gave him his blue belt. Next year he won it again. Then he gave his purple belt, same thing. And then once he got to, I think, brown belt, or maybe the second year of purple belt, he lost by a lot, and he just didn't have a guard anymore. So he relied on takedowns because he's a good wrestler, but someone took him down. Or maybe they pulled guard. They pulled guard, I think, and they swept him. And then they just started racking up points because he was never used to being on his back ever. And he was never, he's never used to being on his back. So he neglected huge parts of jiu-jitsu game because he just relied on his strength. And unfortunately, you have to be both. It's a thinking man's game and a physical game. And if you start out in jiu-jitsu and you're not in shape, it's okay because it'll come. But if you only do strength and endurance, you'll never learn the subtleties of jiu-jitsu, the technique of jiu-jitsu, okay? So you have to think, and that's why I say you got to think more like chess, less like an endurance marathon, you know? Because I really think even if you are out of shape, if you know how to keep someone in front of you, no matter how fast they move, your guard retention is so good, I don't have to work as hard. And that's also why, as white belts, you can burn 1,000 calories a class. As a black belt, something like 400 or something like that. So it's still 400 is a lot of calories, but you're just not working as hard. Now, if I go against nothing but black belts, I will 100% be burning a ton of calories because they're just as good as me, and they're pushing me, or better than me, and they're pushing me, and I'm gonna have to work really hard to keep them in front of me, and then I'm gonna burn more calories that way. So thinking as far as like chess concerned is like, can you have enough moves ahead that you can chain your attacks to catch someone and trick them like chess, laying traps like chess. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that and just kind of understand that kind of philosophy. It's been said, I'm not the first person that said that jiu-jitsu is like chess. I even had a gi that I think it was called the Rook or something like that, gi by Control Industries. Shout out to Blaine at Control Industries. But yeah, because once you understand both, and a lot of jiu-jitsu players play chess too, but it's a great mind, body, soul sport, and so many things I feel like are less that, you know. But even if you think about basketball, to have a long career in basketball, in the beginning they rely on like their athleticism, but the really smart guys that are just smarter, they can trick people getting to the rim by just, again, tricks. If you look at Chris Paul on the Phoenix Suns, like, he gets by on his ability to trick guys, not his speed anymore. He doesn't have the speed anymore. He can't jump much anymore. But he still gets to stay in the league, you know, for a long time. So again, if you only rely on your strength and you never learn the technique and you never learn how to trick people and use the mind to win, you won't last as long. And you won't last as long, and to me, it's so much fun. It's fun to be able to go trick someone because it takes so much less strength when I can trick you to sweep you versus try to physically just force you over. And it's almost effortless. It's like hitting a home run when it's just perfect swing and timing. You just hit that home run, and so thinking it through, thinking like chess, thinking it. Moves ahead, understanding that everything can be countered, and knowing the counters to cut them off is what I highly recommend for all my students. And if you ever want to try a class out, we have a free trial on our website at strongheartacademy.com. Thank you. See you on the mats. Peace.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather beat the ladder. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.